Today we're going to cover features of a map and types of map. We're going to talk about several features. We're also going to talk about what is a map, and we're going to talk about the three main types of maps. So let's get started with what is a map. A map is a representation of the Earth's features drawn on a flat surface. This is a representation of a map. It is on a flat surface. There are several examples in the classroom. One of them you have on your desk currently. It is a flat surface. There are several features on a map that we are going to cover in the next two boards. The first three features on a map include a title. A title identifies the purpose of the map. Right over here, map example, the title is usually going to be at the top of the map. The legend. The legend explains the meaning of symbols and colors for a map. It is usually at a box in the lower left hand or right hand corner. It could also be considered a key as well. The final feature on a map on this board is scale. Scale is the distance on a map compared to the real world. What you would basically have to do for a scale is you would take a bar. The bar is right here. One of these bars would equal 1,000 miles in the real world. So you would have to do some multiplying and some adding to determine how much distance it is on a map compared to the distance in the real world. The next few features talks about labeling and the coloring that goes on a map. Let's start with labeling. Labels are neatly printed, they are spelled correctly, and a dot should be used to locate the cities. You also do not blank information on the map with colors and mountains and oceans or any other landmark. You simply put the word and then you space yourself out from there. Coloring. There is no light or dark patches of one color. It is pretty even. White or black is not acceptable. The only reason that white or black would be acceptable is for the purpose of labeling a town, a city, a mountain range, an ocean, a landmark. The only reason white or black would be used is to basically be able to see it. Gray is used for areas that are not important. That's the only reason you would use gray. And blue is used for bodies of water. The Atlantic, the Pacific, the Little River, the Neuse River, those would be blue. Now, up here, there's two examples. Up top, you got the good map. Clean coloring and shading. Clean labels, spaced out, spelled correctly. Right below here, you have the bad map. Shading is all over the place. It blocks the names. The names are not spaced out correctly. There are some significant problems compared to from the bad map to the good map. The good map is the one that you're most typically going to see for a map in the classroom or in your daily life. The final thing that we want to talk about today is a compass and the types of maps. A compass is a way of finding direction on a map or in the real world. There are four main directions on the compass. These are known as the cardinal points. North, east, south, west. Never eat soggy waffles, never eat sour worms. I've heard a lot of different ways to remember NESW. You can come up with your own way. I like never eating soggy waffles because in reality we wouldn't eat soggy waffles to start with. So NESW is a way to remember that. There are also four additional points that I would like you to remember. Northeast is in between N and E. Southeast is in between S and E. NW is in between north and west. And SW is in between S and W. Those are the four main points that I would also like you to remember. So there's 8 points that you're going to have to remember. North, east, south, and west. Never eat soggy waffles or never eat sour worms. And NE, SE, SW, and NW. You just simply have to look at the letters. NE always goes between the N and the E. SE always goes between the S and the E. SW always goes between the S and the W. And the NW always goes between the N and the W. That will help you remember. The final thing that we're going to wrap up with today is the types of maps. there are three main types of maps that we're going to cover in class today. There's the general purpose map. The general purpose map includes symbols and colors to indicate major roads, parks, hospitals, and attractions. That would be any map for a county, a country. Let's say we're here in Johnston County and you give a tourist a general purpose map. It will basically tell them where Carolina Pottery is, where local shopping outlets are, where restaurants are, where local towns are. That is what a general purpose map is. A topographic map is used for symbols and colors for both natural and human features on the Earth's surface, such things as roads and plants and vegetation. This will be used to determine how hilly or how flat or how desert or how mountainy an area is based off the topographic map. The final map is a thematic map. A thematic map reveals the patterns of statistical data. This will be such things as you take Johnston County. And a thematic map would be used for determining how many males and females there are in the county, how many African American, how many white, how many Asian population there are in the county, how many Republican, how many Democrat, how many independent people there are in the county. It can also be used for other things like what sports a group plays, what clothing does a group wear. It determines a lot of different data for an individual area. Let's review before we end. We talked today about the features of a map and what is a map. We talked about labeling and coloring. We talked about a compass. And we talked about three types of maps. This ends the maps and the features of a maps lesson for today.